And first and foremost, let's go to Joshua. Joshua Wigan says there is none. Reputation damage, staff lose jobs, sponsorship drops, players leave. It's bad all round. That's in response to saying Return of the Shelf, saying what are the positives of going down? I mean, the only person that give you positives of going down is Stelios, really.
Apparently, it's going to be a big reset. Everything's going to turn around, and we're going to come back stronger than ever. That's what's going to happen when we go down. I think Joshua is probably more spot on.
Yeah, it's going to be detrimental to this club going down.
Detrimental. And, you know, it's not so easy coming straight back up. I think going down would be so bad for the image of this club as well to be relegated. I mean, the whole thing is dire, absolute dire. So there are no positives for going down for me.
Hotspur Edition says 14 games without a win, injuries or not, that is inexcusable. This club deserves relegation. It does. We do deserve relegation.
Absolutely.
We deserve relegation for all these bad decisions that we've made time and time again. You know, the footballing part of this football club has been rotting away for years, and this is where we're at right now.
And we've been getting away with it for certain reasons. Maybe, you know, certain people have been stepping up at certain points.
Well, we got away with it last year, by the way, because everyone in the three teams below us were just that bad. You know, they were just so bad.
Yeah.
And we finished 17th last year. We got away with it. The years before that, we were just getting away with it because we had world-class talents in Kane and Son.
Yeah, but last year was also different. It was a different circumstance. We finished on first of all, finished on 38 points, which I'll take this season. Yeah. I'll probably take 38 if you offered it to me.
Definitely.
And also, I think we hit like 38 very early, and then we just basically played our second team for the rest of the season. This is a very different situation. We've been playing our first team every game, and we just can't seem to buy a win.
Yeah.
I think if we played our first team last season throughout the whole of the season, we probably would have finished on maybe 10 more points or so. Probably, I would say. So I don't think we would have been 17th, but we end up being 17th because of the circumstance. This season's different. But there was a warning sign there. The warning sign was, if you don't have the squad to compete, that's how low you could fall if under the certain circumstances. And now we've hit those circumstances because we don't have the squad to compete on multiple fronts. And now we're actually going to go down. And so we didn't heed the warnings of last season. We didn't learn the right lessons, and now we're in an even worse situation.
Yeah. Return of the Shelf says, Tottenham Hotspur, grow a pair and contact the league. Go public about your complaint. Forensically outline every bad decision from the last 5 games. Get V9 to talk publicly. Fight. We are witnessing the opposite of the Leicester title season, when the extraordinary story started with unconscious bias from the refs, at times became conscious. The league wanted the story, the refs and the opponents wanted the story, they got the story. Tottenham are in exactly the same position. They all want the story, and they're doing all they can, consciously or otherwise, to make it happen. And that's exactly how I feel about this situation and the referees. And don't get me wrong, we can't hide behind the referees because we've not been good enough. But these referees are compounding the situation.
Yeah, make us think about it. I think it's about time we stood up for ourselves. How often do you see other clubs, one bad decision goes against them, they're making public statements? So I think we have to do the same, and it's about putting pressure on the referees when they're making these bad decisions. And if anything, it can make them rethink sometimes.
Yeah,
I think Spurs don't stand up for themselves, and I think Ange used to say it. No one stands up for us in the press, or as a club, we don't stand up for ourselves at all. And yet you've got Arteta constantly crying. You've got Forrest and whoever making public statements about bad decisions, and then all of those things can play on referees' minds sometimes. You've got to try and do your part.
And I think it's definitely made a difference in Arsenal's situation, because I think they've got so many decisions this year where they maybe wouldn't have got last year or the year before. And that's because of the constant pressure that Arsenal have been putting on the PGMOL.
Yeah.
We put no pressure on them, and we're getting every decision against us. Gary Ward said, Dort Kinski looks solid today. Brave, composed, consistent long to short range passing, settled into the game really quickly. One of the very few positives today. And yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, and considering this is his first game since Atletico, he did really well. So fair play to Antonin. Happy for him. Look, wasn't the busiest game, as I said, but he's going to have busier games. So it's all like, it wasn't like he proved he's a better shot stopper than we thought or anything like that. He just had a pretty solid game.
Johnny Blaine says, played 30 out of 180 minutes since, by the way, and that was Xavi Simons' man of the match performance, scoring 2 goals against Atletico Madrid.
He's only played 30 minutes since then.
What is going on with Xavi Simons at this football club, right? Because no manager seems to fancy him. Why did he only get 5 minutes at the end yesterday? Why did Igor Tudor, after that performance, never play him again, pretty much? Like,
well,
what
Tudor
is
only
it?
had one more game after this, didn't he?
That's fine, but even before that Atletico game, he wasn't playing him. So, like, what is it about Xavi Simons? Like, why are these managers not fancying him? For me, he's our best and most creative player.
I agree. He's created more chances than anyone else in the team, statistically. I think we look a lot better. I think as an attack, we look more... Not saying everything changes when he's on the pitch and we're a good team. Not far from it. I just think our attack looks a bit more dangerous when he's there. Yes, does he misplace passes? Does he give the ball away? All of those things are true. He's not a perfect player and he's not had a good season. No, don't get me wrong. But we look so much worse when he's not there. We look so much worse. At least when he might get the ball like 10 times, give the ball away 7 times, but create 3 chances, right? But when he's not on the pitch, we create 0.
But it's like we prefer to pigeonhole players into that position as opposed to play a player in his natural position.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It makes no sense.
I mean, some people are saying, look, at some point, if so many managers aren't fancying you, you got to look at yourself, and maybe there is probably some truth to that. But for me, I'm just basing on what I see when he's on the pitch and what I see when he's not on the pitch. That's all I'm basing on, because I don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a terrible trainer and he can't be bothered to be here, and none of these managers trust him. That might be true, but I don't know that. I'm just basing on what I see. And what I see is he creates the very little chances he does create is a lot more than the no chances that the other players create. I mean, Bergvall was an awful performance compared to what I see from Xavi more regularly. So I don't really get it. I'd much rather see him on the pitch, and I'd much rather see him give the ball away but create at least a couple of chances than someone keeping the ball but creating nothing.
And I see a fighter on the pitch whenever he's on the pitch as well. You know, he does the dirty work side of the game as well.
Yeah, I think he tries hard. Like, I don't really understand it, but maybe there's something going on behind the scenes we don't know about.
Ramon Vega says, I said it many times, this is up to the players now. Each game is like a cup final and they should treat it this like that and change their attitude very quickly. This is all psychological now. Every game is like the last game in the Premier League. Some fighting talk there from Ramon.
I mean, let's just hope the players play like it, but they're not at the moment. They just seem so resigned at the moment. But I hope that every game is like cup final. We get up for it, and everything is do or die, and we play, and there's urgency, and we give everything. And I don't know if we might be, and maybe we're just not good enough. But I'm sure they've probably heard how many of these rallying cries at the moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. They probably hear it every week, and nothing's changing.
Yeah. James Dickinson, get these clowns out of my club, man. The amount of times that they panned to these 3 clowns on the TV yesterday, just motionless. Vivian, Johan, and Vinay. I mean,
get them out.
The damage that these guys have done to this football club, it could be irreversible.
It could be irreparable, yep, irreparable.
BLTHFC saying, it's fine. Brobby can elbow our players, clatter into Romero, and concuss 2 of our players, but Van de Ven touches him, yellow card.
That whole thing, Brobby, man, how he stayed on the pitch, I'll never know. It's
madness, isn't it? Absolute madness. If Romero does that challenge on Brobby, where Brobby got nothing for, he probably would have been sent off. Hotspur report saying 6 cup finals to go. No point hiding now. We have to show up and support the team. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, look, I'm all for rallying the troops and saying these and putting these things out. Great, but you got to realise we've been saying this since like 12 games to go. 12 games to go. Cup for every game to cup, blah blah blah. Now we're down to 6 and we're still doing the same thing. And I'm not saying it's wrong to do. I'm just saying it's clearly not helping. Nothing like I don't know what to like
But we can't stop.
I know, we're going to say we're going to lose to Bayern. They go, okay, 5 games to go, 5 cup finals.
But that's the reality. That's where we're at. We can't stop.
That. I'm not saying we shouldn't support.
We can't stop until it's all done.
I'm just saying I'm a bit numb to these posts at the moment.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. But
because I've seen so many of them now.
I get that. But the reality is that's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that we can do. So I'm going to keep doing it. Christian says, the extra 2 months Thomas Frank was given at Tottenham could be what sent us down. Drawing away to Burnley and losing at home to West Ham killed us.
Absolutely. And then we kept him on after West Ham. I don't know how we did that. I can't believe we kept him on after West Ham. We were so sure he was gone after that game. 100%. In hindsight, we probably should have got rid of him a lot earlier. I think definitely what should have been a massive alarm bell was that Forest game at the very least. We know Chelsea and Arsenal were bad performances and losses, but maybe you can justify saying, look, they're a good team, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But that Forest game, we lost 3-0 to that awful Forest team.
Yeah.
He should have been gone after that.
Forest have not won a home game since.
Yeah, I mean...
Kolo Muani pushed over, then gets completely taken out by Luke O'Nine's slide. Penalty given on the pitch. We are told you are very high bar to overturn it, but overturn it if they do. Of course they do, because it's Spurs. Unbelievable.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've seen this a number of times. I understand the number 15, he does get a touch on the ball. And I think what's happened here is the referee thought that Alderete did. I think he thinks that Muani got the ball there, not Alderete.
Spurs Army says, is that really enough to overturn it? No. Probably not.
I don't think it is. I think we got harshly done, because I think you'll see a similar situation where the referee looks at it and thinks, yeah, it's not a high enough bar for intervention for a similar thing.
Spurs Watch has given us his opinion on the squad, and he says, Vicario reminds me of Ramsdale, pulls off the odd great save, but flaps at everything and fills you with zero confidence. I think that's pretty accurate, to be honest, on Vicario. Porro. Been ran into the ground the last couple of years, can't cross the ball to save his life and can't defend. Romero doesn't even play incisive passes anymore, so he's just a liability for us most of the time. Van de Ven can't defend or pass, just quick, should be a fullback. Dragoshin, horrific, Real Madrid move soon. Danso, average, okay backup. Udogie, he's all right, never seen him pick out his man in the box, injuries ruined him. Spence, bang average and thinks he's world class. Ran the penitentiary gimmick until he was getting spun every week. Gallagher, I'd get suspended if I say what I wanted to. Sarr, been here for 4 years, hasn't improved. Paulinia, shin kicker, no technical ability, wins the ball so often because he can't stop losing it from loose touches. Bergvall was decent last year, terrible this season. Could be decent under the right coach. Gray, probably our best player. Javi doesn't offer any real threat, looks flashy and has 1 goal all season and doesn't create much. Mastered, looking busy at work. Tell, people act like we've got Ronaldo on the bench when he doesn't start. He's all right, but very selfish. Don't mind him, though. Kolo Muani, can't trap a ball, just kicks the ball 10 yards down the line and runs, no goal threat. Richarlison, headless chicken, but if anyone's going to score, it'll be him. Solanke, arguably the worst player at the club, has 0 qualities.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hyperbole there, put it that way.
But where we are right now, this is the squad that got us there.
No, that's our squad. I don't think all the things he said are true, but like I understand people want to vent their frustration, so I'm not going to argue against any of it. But I think most of the stuff there is not true.
Brian Daigle says the irony is sickening. For years, Spurs have circled around both struggling and relegated clubs like vultures picking scraps. Now we're the wounded animal and the vultures are circling, waiting to pick us apart, from being the predator to now being the prey.
Yeah, we absolutely are going to be preyed upon this summer, that's for sure. Everyone's going to be looking at our players who are going to get picked apart.
Liam says, this is just so unfair and heartbreaking. They've simply decided to send us down. Look at that. Look at that. That screenshot of a doggy. It's just like, how? That's a sending off in my book.
He's ahead of him. He's got his hand to his neck, and you look at the bottom there, he's got his studs down his Achilles as well.
Yeah.
So I don't see how that's not a foul. I think it's ridiculous how VAR didn't intervene. The only thing here is, it's out of shot here, but to the to the left of a doggy, there is a defender covering. So whether it's a dogzo, as they call it, you could argue maybe not, but definitely has to be a foul and a free kick for sure. For sure. And the annoying thing is, like, Van der Ven did so much less and got booked for it. So much less than that. And yet he's through on goal, essentially, potentially, and gets taken down like that and nothing given. Ridiculous. And they scored not long after that.
Yeah. It was literally a few minutes, I think. Simon Yemene says, my biggest issue yesterday was that we didn't look like a De Zerbi team. Instead of fully committing to his principles, we compromised. That's not a reset, that's more of the same. Constant compromise is how we got here. I'd rather go down playing football we believe in. Looking at the team yesterday, look how we set up, look at the players we used in the specific positions. It was no departure to what we've been doing all season.
Correct. It was, which is what De Zerbi has been saying, to be honest. He said, I've not had the time to do as much as I want or put as many principles in the team, only getting organised on and off the ball, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. He's trying to put in a few principles, but he does what he didn't. He said he didn't want to bring in too many coaches. He didn't want to confuse the players too much. This is what we have to contend with when you bring in a manager with 7 games to go.
Yeah.
This is the reality.
Especially in the situation that we're in, yeah.
I want him to go full De Zerbi ball as much as anyone, trust me. But how realistic is that right now?
It's true.
Like how, we could spend 5 games losing 3-0 before we get to grips with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I thought we would see some difference at least.
I think for the first hour there were little things, but it's hard to tell them apart right now.
Nico Ferreira says this is how they make the Tottenham fans feel every match. It feels we just get beaten up every single game, man.
God, honestly. Everyone feels like crying.
This one, the referee settled for a yellow card. If it were a Tottenham player, it would have been a straight red. I mean, he literally elbows Porro in the face and then pushes him to the floor.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this one, probably yellow is correct, I would say. I mean, it's not... I mean, there's not much...
C says, Bentancur penalty away at Newcastle. Romero disallowed goal away at West Ham. Ekatike goal, home to Liverpool. Moani disallowed goal, home to Arsenal. Dragashin non-foul away at Fulham. Romero red card away at Man U. Entire match away at Sunderland, etc., etc. Only decisions that's gone maybe our way is Solanke versus City all season. Not one complaint from the club.
100%. Start making a stink, Tottenham. I think we need to.
That is quite the catalogue, though, isn't it? And there's probably more that he's missing out.
And how many of those games were lost by a goal? I think a lot of them. Newcastle was by a goal. West Ham we won. Liverpool was by 1 goal. Dragashin was by 1 goal. Sunderland was by a goal. Those things can make a difference when there's 1 goal in it.
Yeah. 100%. Nick Hill says, within 3 minutes, a handball against Moani for a header, a shocking tackle on Tell unpunished, and Brobby allowed to cause a double head injury with no second yellow card. What's the point?
So true. Honestly, the whole... Like, that 3-minute period, my head was on Mars for that, honestly. I was completely... My head was gone. I was like, what am I watching? Everyone... I had some guy behind me who was just shouting constantly like, just make a fair call, ref. Just make it fair. Stop being corrupt. I just had that in my ear literally for 90 minutes. But it's hard to complain, hard to argue against that with what I was seeing.
Stokey G, Spurs' last 6 games in the Premier League season, how many points do they pick up? I mean, it's hard to think of anything more than like 4, and that's being generous. Yeah.
For me, it's not even about the fixtures at the moment. It's not about who we're playing, it's how we're playing. That's the reality.
True.
You've shown, doesn't matter who you're playing, if you play well, you can get points against anyone.
Yeah.
And if we're playing to the best of all the players' ability in De Zerbi, there's no game in that which I don't think we can't win. If with you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's no unwinnable game there.
Yeah.
But the way we're playing, every game is unwinnable.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. So like we can look at these fixtures and say, yeah, this fixture, that fixture. It's not about who we're playing. It's about how we're playing.
Yeah, totally agree.
Like if we beat Brighton and we play really well, and we get confidence, let's say that happens, there's no game I'm scared of there. Even Chelsea away, they're terrible at the moment. I know we have a terrible record there, but if we're playing well, there's no reason why we couldn't go there and get something, because they're not unbeatable. There's no Villa are likely to be sandwiched in between two semi-finals of Europe. So that's a game you could potentially win. But it's just we are playing like a team who's going to get 6 out of 6 losses.
Yeah. Alice Talks Footy says the ref defo wants the Spurs to go down. He's actually been shocking. And that's
when you exactly, when you got an impartial person, well, some call it impartial, but you got a non-Spurs fan saying that, you know there's something to it. I think.
I've seen loads of people that are not Spurs fans say this about the ref yesterday. ONTHFC said, slow down the video. Romero's definitely done his ACL here. Watch his leg. Grim from Bobby.
Well, actually, we know he hasn't. But if you look at this, like Brobby, I've seen a lot of people saying, some people suggested like Brobby had nowhere else to go, and
he literally pushes him.
He pushes him. How is this not a serious play?
Yeah,
serious foul play. He knows what he's doing there, Brobby. He knows what he's doing. He knows that if he pushes Romero, his momentum's going to take him into Kinski. He knows it. People are saying like, he's also nowhere near the ball. He's never getting that ball in a million years.
Yeah.
Even if Romero wasn't there, he's not getting that ball.
That's another yellow card.
That's a clear yellow card. Some are saying potentially straight red. Like, he's endangered the safety of 2 players there.
Yeah.
Like, he's never getting the ball. The ball's actually in Kinski's hand when he pushes it. When the push starts, Kinski actually has it. So all he's doing is endangering player safety there.
Absolutely.
And if he gets sent off at that point, half an hour against 10 men, we give ourselves a better chance. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a disgrace. I think VAR should have got involved, to be honest. I think they should have given him a direct red.
Spurs Watch says, I don't want to hear any rival fans say stop crying about the refs. We're getting robbed in broad daylight. And it just feels like it's week in, week out at this point. And you know what? Another one as well is like when the penalty was overturned, why did we not get a corner? Why did it go to a drop ball to the goalkeeper?
Should have been a corner. Don't understand that.
Makes no sense.
Should have been a corner. Everything about yesterday was just pissing me off, honestly. The whole game was designed just to piss off Tottenham fans.
Literally. Football meets data. For the first time this season, Tottenham are projected to relegate from the Premier League, to relegate to the EFL Championship. Wolves at 100%, Burnley at 99.9%, Tottenham at 46%. I mean, they've been doing these low percentage.
They must be, aren't they? Are they not officially down yet?
I don't know.
They've been doing these percentages all season, haven't they?
46% still seems low, though.
True. Do you remember when was it? We had Ariane on, he was saying 5%. When was that? When was that? That was before Fulham. That was before the Fulham game. And I don't know how many points clear we were at that point. So Wolves are 15 points. Oh, so they're not yet officially down. Look at that. And look, it's mad how it goes. And then look at the sharp. So where was the sharp increase?
It was game week 31 was the sharp one.
Wow, look at the big difference there. We went from under 25% to nearly 50%. Oh, that was from last week to this week. Really? That makes no sense. How can you increase 20% in one game?
I don't know. I think these percentages have been well off all season.
Honestly, I think we've been close to 50% for a while. I think we're over 50% now for me.
Yeah, we're definitely over 50% now. I think we're probably 65% around that now. Suffering says, what's the dog so?
Denial of a goal scoring opportunity.
If you take the denial of a goal scoring opportunity out of the view, then other defender can cover. I thought after the Javi Simmons red card that any stubbs up contact on the calf is undoubtedly a sending off. Was there another rule change that didn't get communicated with us?
That's what I'm saying. Like that, people are looking about the hand, the arm to the throat, but you look
at this, man. So this was the Muani so-called handball. Clearly hits his head.
Yeah, this was ridiculous. And also, he waited so long to blow. It was really frustrating. smacks him in the head. We're on the attack, and he blows up for no reason. As soon as it looked like Tottenham are going to win the ball, he then blows up.
Madness. Absolute madness. And the last one is back to the refereeing. This ball is a foul and a yellow card on Van der Ven. Sunderland's proper player should have been sent off, and he wasn't. And because of him, Borough get a free card. And there was a penalty not awarded, and a foul on Muani is a crucial one-on-one. Question mark as usual on English refereeing against Tottenham.
So I don't understand how this was a yellow against Van der Ven. It's not even a foul. He just out-muscles him. Just like, if it's a foul, fine. How is that a yellow compared to some of the other challenges that were going in?
It's madness.
The whole thing is ridiculous. The whole thing. All these decisions. Romero had one as well. He gets the ball off Robbie and he got booked for it. The whole game was pissing me off. Oh, it just really done
They're
my
trying
head
to
in.
send us down, man. I'm telling you, there's a conspiracy against Tottenham. Not like we need it. Going to send ourselves down anyway, but like this conspiracy with the referees against Tottenham is just too much.